What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Plugin Tut, your home for handcrafted WordPress plugin tutorials. And today I want to talk to you about how I was dead wrong about that plugin called Elementor that went from nothing to now 1 million plus installations on WordPress.org. You have to take a just step back and put yourself in anybody's shoes who was looking at page builder space, 2 or 3 years ago. It was sort of a chaotic space to be in, and what we really saw was a bunch of sort of theme forest solutions, some baked in theme options that were out there that just weren't really doing the page building world justice. Of course, now we have Gutenberg, and page builders have become almost a norm in a large amount of WordPress installations. But when I saw Elementor come onto the scene, they were like one of 7, themes and page builders that people were just clamoring over. And I sort of disregarded it from just like, here we go, just another solution that's out there. And you got to remember, Divi and Visual Composer and Beaver Builder, you didn't really think that there was enough room for somebody else to sort of bust through and make an impact as they have up until this point. So like with all page builders, the first thing that comes to mind is code efficiency, speed, performance, user interface. I mean, are we gonna get everything and the kitchen sink, and is that gonna bog down the experience? Is it gonna make the page load slow? And while I don't have any direct data or analytics on how Elementor impacts, the front end page load, seeing Elementor operate now in the back end and the UI and how snappy it is and how organic the experience is, or native the experience is to like their right click, right? I know that's a huge sort of UI impact that they recently released, and just being able to right click on the screen while you're working and manipulating a site, that is pretty amazing. That is something that is critical to the adoption of plugins like this. So I must say that the speed and performance and efficiency in the back end anyways has been pretty amazing. Next up, I look at page builders and I'm like, hey, this is great. We're giving all of these tools to end users. They can design their website the own way that they want to. That's great. Thumbs up. But the problem is folks aren't designers. So they get into using these tools and they start building something that just isn't right. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't flow well. And sometimes they have a issue where they design everything on the homepage and it's great, and they're doing it on their 27-inch monitor, and then they go down to their mobile phone and it's just it's a mess. Things are scrolling way down, it's slow loading, it's just unorganized. And that's something that I've always looked at, like how are these page builders going to keep up with sort of design trends and introducing new designs? And I must say that their template selection is quite staggering. There is a ton of templates in there and they all look pretty darn good. And they give you a good base. So they're not super over the top. Some of them are very niche, like the athletic ones and a few others in there, but they give you the bones to manipulate that and build your own site with your own fashion or your own flair and design, which I really think is critical. And the other half of that is they've really partnered up with a lot of these SEO performance, super fast themes like a WP Astra or something like that, where the Astra theme is, touted for its lightweightness and super fast and efficiency. And having that partnership where now you have third-party theme shops creating themes specifically for an Elementor. They do it with Beaver Builder as well. That's only showing you that, this is number one, it's a great business move, but number two, there's a need for it. And what Elementor won't solve, maybe a third-party theme shop will. And I think that's kudos to all parties who do collaborative effort like that. I mean, it makes business sense, but it does give the user at the end of the day more options and more choices. You're gonna spend a little bit more money because you're gonna have to buy both components, or both products, but I think it's a great way. And I just gotta say that the themes that they keep rolling out for core Elementor have been fantastic. Next up is gonna be the actual theme builder component that they have in Elementor. Now, I'll be the first one to say that I haven't dived too deep into that pool of development side with Elementor, although I do plan after this video to do more of that on this channel. They were sort of playing catch up to Beaver Builder, who was out there first with their Beaver Themer component, but so many other themes and plugins have tried to tackle this GUI for development thing for many years, right? I mean, Genesis would probably be the genesis of that, right? Where they would give you these sort of copy paste snippets of code and functions that you could throw into your functions PHP file. I mean, I would say that is the smallest iteration of this kind of theme or component. That's a powerful component, which will tie into price in a little bit. Giving people the ability to code without knowing how to code. Yes, it's a little scary for some of us who are purists and purist developers, but for the very basic things, it's a very powerful tool. And it enables people to do tasks, one, efficiently and quickly, but if you're somebody who's savvy enough to start a business or a freelancing business, these are killer features and at a very attractive price. So the one thing that has shocked me so far with Elementor is the price point that they've been able to maintain with this kind of rise in adoption, for this long. And this is also my cause for concern, which we'll talk about at the very end of the video. But for $49, you get all of the features of Elementor for one site. For $99, it goes up to 3 sites. And for $199 a year, you're getting unlimited sites. So if you're an agency or a freelancer, I mean, you sell one site, you might as well just buy the unlimited license for $200 because then you're gonna sell another website anyway. Keep pumping out new features, keep improving the performance and the usability of the product, and keeping it at an affordable price. That's pretty much the recipe for success in the WordPress space. So kudos for them to keeping that price at such a low and easy to manage price point. All right, we're gonna go into the bonus round of some of the reasons why I was wrong, but some of the reasons why I really want you to think about how you choose your page builders and specifically Elementor, the pop-up builder. When you start to look at some of the competition out there, again, like a Beaver Builder or a Divi, the pop-up builder from Elementor is like the first one in that step in that direction. And here's why I think that's awesome. Number one, most people who are building this, I would say, or building a website, are building a website because they want to do better in business. They want to have a better website, they want to have more content, like they're in this marketing game, or they're a freelancer or a consultant who's bringing this into their own shop to sell this type of deliverable to a client. And having a pop-up builder in there makes total sense. But some of the other things that they've called like action buttons within Elementor, like when you click a phone number, you can set up a certain action which causes your phone to just dial it. You can click another button and it'll pull up the map. These are things, though they're baby steps, and a lot of these features are native to the iOS or Android browsing experience, the way they've marketed it, the way they've shifted it, is something where you look at Elementor and in a year's time, maybe even in 6 months' time from this video, it could be like this all-inclusive marketing engine, right? It's a theme, it's a builder, it's a content layout management, it is all of these other marketing components. And if they keep the price point this low, my God, that is pretty fantastic. But I have some thoughts about that as well. See, just like when WordPress changes from classic editor to Gutenberg, the experience of WordPress changes, right? No duh. But what happens is for people like you and I who are more technical and we do this stuff every day, the person who just comes into the work and they log into WordPress and they make a new blog post, these are like critical speed bumps in their daily lives, right? They don't have time to learn the technology, and the way they experience WordPress is how they've trained themselves over years. When a company like Elementor, who's trying to make a splash and trying to constantly innovate, they have to keep an eye on that experience. When we bought Elementor for $50 2 years ago, it was kind of a little bit slower. There wasn't much features. There wasn't many options. Here we go, fast forward 2 years later. It's fast, it's nimble. There's a lot of stuff there. But how does this company continue to grow? How do they continue to serve a market and introduce more features without getting heavier, without getting more bloated, without raising price, and without going that traditional route of SaaS, right? Where it's a hosted product. Or you sidestep that and say, well, look at StudioPress with their themes. Do they reach a point where it's so hard to break past a $8, $9, $10 million theme company or plugin company? You get to that point where it's like, hey, we can't do it any faster. We've reached a critical mass where we can't sell as much anymore, we can't innovate as fast anymore, there's another competitor coming into the market, and oh, by the way, here comes GoDaddy and they acquire us. I think that the obvious next step to this company is not keep it on this same path, like selling a single license for $49 a month. I think they're still growing. And if they get acquired, I mean, I guess good for them. That's why a lot of people are in this game. But what happens to, all of these sites that people are using Elementor on? Of course, it's up to the new person to sort of take that over. In fact, Matt Mullenweg has paid a lot of lip service to Elementor, which was kind of interesting. Maybe an automatic Elementor thing would make sense. So look, at the end of the day, I think Elementor is a great product, and I was dead wrong a couple years ago for not paying enough attention to it. I think if you're a consultant out there and you're looking for something that is going to solve a small business need, super fast and efficient, you're getting some marketing tools in there, you can do a little bit of dev without having to write up some lines of code, and it's not this big, overly complex project, I say you take a look at Elementor. I say you start to look at that. I'm sure many of you are using this in a bigger scenario, and that's awesome. I just haven't had any experience yet in the larger site build out. I have a Beaver Builder, and it's great. But for Elementor's case, with a price point and the themes available, I think you can build out sites pretty fast and give an efficient tool to your end user to use. It's Elementor.com. I plan on doing a little bit more around Elementor on this channel once I get to it. Subscribe below if you like videos like this. Thumbs up if you like videos like this. Does that even make sense? Subscribe if you like this video. Thumbs up if you like this video. This is Plugin Tut. We'll see you in the next episode.